Brother, the truth you hid is rising tonight. And nothing will save you when justice finally strikes. You know the sound of secrets finally breaking free. It's a low, steady hum. Like the big industrial sander in the back of the shop, running after hours when no one's supposed to be there. That's the sound of my life right now. I'm standing alone in the main workshop of Porter Family Furniture, deep in the North Carolina countryside, surrounded by half-finished tables and the sharp, familiar bite of fresh-cut oak and varnish hanging in the air. The overhead lights are off, just the glow from the exit sign and the moonlight coming through the high windows. My name is Jacqueline Porter. I'm 42. My hands are rough from years of sanding and staining, and my shoulders ache in a way that never quite goes away after a full day on the floor. For the last 15 years, I've been the one keeping this family business alive, the one who knows every grain pattern, every supplier contact, every customer who walks through the door expecting the same quality my dad built his name on. Tonight, the place is dead quiet except for that sander hum in my head. And I've got a USB drive in my pocket that's about to change everything. Tomorrow is the annual family meeting, the one where everyone gathers at the old house to eat, catch up, and go over the shop's numbers. Wayne thinks it's going to be his night to shine. He has no idea, I've been waiting for this for months. I'm not here to cry about what he did or how much it hurt. I'm here because when that recording plays tomorrow, when the numbers hit the table in front of the whole family, my brother is finally going to feel what real collapse is like. He's spent years thinking blood makes him untouchable, that lies can stay buried under layers of varnish forever. Tonight, the truth is coming out. And there's not a damn thing he can do to stop it. But before I tell you exactly how, I'm going to bring it all down with nothing more than proof and timing. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications. These stories of family betrayal, hidden lies, and the moment everything finally shatters are the ones that hit hardest. And trust me, there are a lot of us out there carrying the weight, waiting for the right second to set it down for good. We need the numbers. Done. Good now. To understand why I'm standing here tonight with this drive in my hand, ready to end it all tomorrow, I have to take you back to the beginning. 16 years ago, everything was different. I was 26, working a steady office job in Charlotte, the kind with benefits and a 401k that felt like real adult progress. Then one rainy night, a single phone call turned my world upside down. My parents, Robert and Margaret Porter, were gone. A tractor-trailer hydroplaned on I-40 and took them both in an instant. They left behind the family workshop Porter Family Furniture, just two small buildings on the edge of town, filled with half-finished chairs, stacks of rough lumber, and a mountain of debt the bank was already circling. The place was barely breaking even back then. Dad had always done things the old way, hand-selecting every board, using traditional joinery, no shortcuts. Customers loved the quality, but there weren't enough of them to keep up with the bills. Mom handled the books and the front sales, charming everyone who walked in. Without them, orders slowed. Suppliers started demanding cash up front, and the few craftsmen we had were talking about leaving for steadier pay. Wayne was off at college in California, chasing a business degree on the other side of the country. He called once after the funeral, voice cracking over the line, promising he'd be home soon to help sort things out. Soon turned into weeks, then months. He sent emails now and then with big ideas he'd picked up in class: streamline production, outsource finishing, cut costs wherever possible. Practical advice, sure, but from 3,000 miles away. It was easy to say. He never saw the late nights I spent poring over Dad's old sketchbooks, trying to figure out why a certain dovetail joint held better than another. He didn't know the names of the loggers who delivered our cherry and walnut, or which ones could be trusted to pick straight grain. I quit my job the week after the funeral. There was no dramatic moment, no big speech, just a quiet realization that if I didn't step in, everything my parents built would disappear. The workshop was all we had left of them. So I moved back into the old house, rolled up my sleeves, and started learning fast. First came the tools. Dad's notes were everywhere, scribbled margins in catalogs, faded labels on drawers of chisels and planes. I taught myself to sharpen blades until they could shave paper, to read the wood the way he did, spotting cracks or warps before they became problems. The big industrial sander scared me at first. One wrong move and it could take a finger, but I practiced on scrap until the rhythm felt natural. Then the suppliers. The bank was breathing down my neck, so I drove out to every mill and lumberyard Dad had worked with, hat in hand, explaining what happened and asking for terms. Some said yes because they'd known my parents for decades. Others needed convincing. I brought samples of our work, showed them finished pieces that had lasted generations. Slowly, the orders started coming in again. Staff was harder. We'd lost 2 craftsmen already. I posted ads, interviewed anyone who showed up, and ended up hiring a couple of guys who'd worked for bigger factories but wanted something smaller. I trained them myself, staying late to walk through each step, measuring twice, cutting once, gluing up panels so they'd stay flat for a lifetime. I learned which employees had kids in school, who needed flexible hours, who could be trusted to lock up at night. Customers came back too. Once word spread that the shop was still open, I answered phones at midnight when someone needed a rush repair on an heirloom table. I drove deliveries myself in Dad's old truck when the driver called in sick. Every dollar we made went straight back in new clamps, better dust collection, a second drying kill so we could take on bigger jobs. Year by year, we grew from those 2 buildings to adding a finishing room, then a showroom out front. I designed new lines based on what people asked for: farmhouse tables with breadboard ends, bedroom sets that matched century-old homes in the area. We picked up contracts with local designers, then a few regional stores. 8 locations worth of inventory now flows out of that original shop, all built on the reputation Dad started and I refused to let die. Through it all, Wayne stayed out west. He graduated, landed a corporate job, got married to Diane. He'd visit once a year, maybe 2, walk through the shop like he was inspecting a franchise, point out things we could optimize. He never stayed long enough to run a single board through the planer or talk to a customer who'd been buying from us since before he was born. His emails kept coming, suggestions about automation, cheaper materials, faster turnaround. I'd read them, thank him, and keep doing things the way that worked. I never resented the work. This place kept Mom and Dad close. Every time I ran my hand over a freshly oiled tabletop and felt that warm glow in the grain, I heard Dad's voice telling me to take pride in what lasts. Every time a customer sent a photo of our dining table surrounded by their grandkids, I thought of Mom smiling behind the counter. The workshop became my way of holding on to them, of keeping the family together, even when it was just me carrying the load. Wayne never really understood that part. To him, it was always just a business waiting for his ideas. He had no idea how deep those roots went, or how much it would hurt when he finally came home and decided it was time to pull them up. 1 month after the funeral, we all gathered around the big oak table in the old house. The air still carried that heavy quiet that settles in after losing someone. But everyone was there: aunts, uncles, a few cousins who'd driven in from out of state. The lawyer, Mr. Goodwin, sat at one end with a folder in front of him, ready to read the will. Wayne had flown in the day before, looking sharper than I'd seen him in years. Tailored suit, shiny watch, the kind of confident smile that comes from acing presentations in business school. Diane was right beside him, holding his hand, her eyes bright like this was some kind of new beginning. Mr. Goodwin started with the usual formalities: house to be split evenly, personal items divided as listed. Then he got to the workshop, Porter family furniture, the buildings, the equipment, the inventory, the contracts. Everything went into a trust, with Wayne named as the managing trustee because he was the oldest son. Dad had always leaned on tradition that way, believing the eldest boy should steer the family business. No one around the table looked surprised. A couple of uncles nodded like it made perfect sense. Wayne leaned forward the second the lawyer finished. He didn't waste time on grief or memories. Instead, he launched right into it. "This is exactly what the business needs," he said, voice smooth and sure. "A fresh direction. I've spent years studying how companies like ours scale, how to modernize operations, cut inefficiencies, and turn solid foundations into real growth." He talked about strategic vision, about positioning the shop for the next decade, using terms like supply chain optimization and market expansion. That sounded impressive coming from him. Anne squeezed his arm, beaming. "Wayne's been planning this for months," she added. "He has connections now. People who can help us bid on bigger contracts, maybe even get into custom lines for developers." A few relatives murmured agreement, impressed by the polish. One aunt even said it was what Dad would have wanted, someone with book learning to take things further. Then Wayne turned to me. His expression softened just enough to seem considerate. "Jacqueline, you've done an incredible job holding everything together these past years. Seriously, no one could have kept it running like you did." He paused, like he was choosing words carefully. "But now it's time to professionalize. I'll be taking over day-to-day management, signing off on purchases, handling new clients, making the big calls. We're moving you to administrative oversight. You'll handle the paperwork, invoices, scheduling, all the detail work you're already great at. It'll free you up from the heavy lifting." I felt the words hit like a clamp tightening too fast on fresh wood. Administrative oversight. Paperwork. After everything, every late night. Every supplier I'd sweet-talked, every design I'd sketched to keep customers coming back. It wasn't a partnership, it was a demotion. Plain and simple, dressed up as help. Diane smiled at me like this was a gift. "It'll be easier on you," she said. "You've carried so much already." The room waited for my reaction. I could feel eyes on me, the unspoken pressure to keep the peace, to not make a scene so soon after losing mom and dad. Family first, that's what they'd all say if I pushed back. And Wayne was watching closest, that small, hopeful look like he genuinely believed I'd be relieved. He even added, "We'll still need your input, of course. You know the shop better than anyone. You can guide me on the ground level stuff while I focus on strategy." What could I do? Argue the will in front of everyone? Demand a bigger role and risk splitting us further when we were already broken? I swallowed the knot in my throat and nodded. "If that's what Dad wanted," I said quietly, "then okay, I'll handle the admin side." Wayne reached over and patted my hand. "The way you'd thank an employee for being reasonable. Team player," he said, grinning. "This is going to be good for all of us." The rest of the evening shifted to his plans. He spread out printouts charts, showing projected revenue if we switched to faster drying finishes. Cut labor costs by bringing in part-time finishers, sourced cheaper hardwood from new vendors. He talked about opening 2 more showrooms in Raleigh and Charlotte within 18 months. Maybe franchising the brand down the line. Diane kept nodding along, and the relatives leaned in, caught up in the excitement of growth, of money possibly coming in instead of just scraping by. I sat there listening, forcing smiles when someone looked my way, but inside something cracked a little deeper. This wasn't just about who signed the checks. It was Wayne deciding. My years here didn't count the same because they weren't backed by a degree or a suit. He saw the shop as a project to flip, not a legacy to protect. And everyone else saw it too. They just liked the sound of bigger, better by the time people started leaving. Wayne was shaking hands, promising updates soon. He pulled me aside at the door. "We'll make this work," he said. "You'll see." I nodded again, because what else was there to say? Family, right? A few weeks later, I was moved to a small office tucked behind the finishing room. The space was barely bigger than a storage closet folding table that wobbled when I typed, an old chair with cracked vinyl that stuck to my legs in the summer heat, and the constant smell of varnish and sawdust seeping through the thin walls. A single window looked out onto the loading dock, where trucks backed in with fresh lumber. It wasn't meant for anyone to spend full days in. Wayne called it temporary, a place to focus on the admin without distractions. I knew better. This was my new spot, out of the way, where I wouldn't be in his line of sight while he took over. He wasted no time making changes. The first thing was the wood suppliers. Dad had stuck with the same local mills for years, guys who hand-selected quarter sawn oak and air-dried it properly so pieces wouldn't warp. Wayne switched to a big distributor out of state that promised 20% lower prices. The boards started arriving, greener, heavier with moisture, harder to work without checking later. The craftsman noticed right away. One of them showed me a stack in the yard, pointing out the wider growth rings. "This stuff's going to move," he said. I logged it in the new procurement forms Wayne wanted me to fill out. Then came the staff cuts. 3 of the older finishers, men who'd been with Dad since the beginning, got let go. Wayne brought in younger guys, willing to work for less. No benefits. He said it was about staying competitive. The shop floor felt different, almost overnight, less talking, more rushing. Mistakes crept in, glue lines that showed, stains applied unevenly because no one took the time to wipe excess properly. My days became endless paperwork, invoices to approve, schedules to print, inventory sheets that now had to be digital. Wayne insisted on new software he'd read about, something cloud-based that crashed half the time on our old computers. I spent hours entering data he could have asked the foreman for in 5 minutes. When I tried pointing out discrepancies, like a shipment logged but never arriving, he brushed it off. "Just file it," he'd say over the phone, sounding busy with something more important. The strange charges started showing up soon after. Transfers to accounts I didn't recognize, labeled as consulting fees or equipment upgrades that never materialized. One was for thousands, routed through a company I'd never heard of. I flagged it on the report and emailed Wayne. His reply came fast. "Approved expense. Don't worry about the details, focus on getting those permits renewed." The tone was sharp, irritated, like I was overstepping. Marilyn, my closest friend and the lead manager at the main shop, started coming by more often. She'd close the door and sit on the edge of my desk. Voice low, sales are slipping, she told me one afternoon. Customers who've been with us forever are complaining. Tables coming back with cracks. Finishes wearing off too soon. Words getting around that the quality isn't what it used to be. She showed me the return log double what it was last year. I pulled the customer feedback forms and saw the same names I'd known for decades, writing things like not the same craftsmanship or disappointed after all these years. Wayne was gone a lot. Meetings with investors, he said. Trips to look at new showrooms. He'd roll in late some days. Phone glued to his ear. Ending calls quickly when anyone got close. I caught whiffs of a different cologne on him. Something expensive and feminine that definitely wasn't Diane's. Once, he left his jacket on a chair in the main office. And a receipt fell out dinner for two at a place 2 hours away. Far from any supplier he claimed to be visiting. Every change felt like a small cut. The shop wasn't just a business to Mitt, was Dad's sketches still pinned to the wall. Mom's handwriting on old order forms. Seeing corners cut, seeing people who'd become like family let go. Watching customers drift away, chipped away at something deep. Wayne was turning the place into something generic. Something that could be anywhere, run by anyone. And I was stuck in that back room, watching it happen through stacks of paper he didn't even read. One late evening, I stayed after everyone left to double-check the books. The shop was quiet. Just the low hum of the dust collector winding down and the occasional creak of settling wood. I sat at the old computer in my cramped office, the one Wayne hadn't bothered upgrading yet. I still had admin access to the business accounts, something he'd overlooked when he locked me out of most other systems. Curiosity had been building for weeks. Those odd transfers I'd seen glimpses of in the reports. Tonight, I decided to dig deeper. I logged into the bank portal and pulled up the full transaction history. At first it was routine supplier payments, payroll, utility bills. Then I scrolled further back, filtering for outgoing wires. There they were, dozens of transfers over the past few months, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars, going to an account I didn't recognize. The recipient name wasn't a vendor or contractor. It was a woman, someone named Carla Evans. Not a business entity, just a personal checking account. My stomach tightened as I cross-referenced dates. The amounts started small. 5,000 here, 10 there, labeled as consulting or marketing services. But they grew larger, 25,000 at a time, sometimes within days of each other. One transfer was for a down payment on a condo in Asheville, $50,000, noted as investment opportunity. Another covered jewelry, high-end stuff from a store in Charlotte. None of it made sense for the shop. We weren't expanding marketing that aggressively. And we sure weren't investing in real estate. I printed a few statements, hands shaking slightly as I watched the pages come out. This wasn't sloppy bookkeeping. This was deliberate. Money we needed for better tools, for keeping skilled craftsmen on payroll, for maintaining the quality that kept customers loyal. It was gone, drained into someone else's life. Then I heard the side door open. Wayne's voice echoed from the main floor, low but clear. He must have come back for something he forgot. He was on the phone. I froze, not wanting him to know I was still here. His footsteps stopped near the finishing area, just on the other side of my thin wall. I reached for my phone out of habit and hit record before I even thought about it. Yeah, it's handled, he said. Voice relaxed in a way I hadn't heard at work. Another transfer went through today. She's happy with the new place, no more complaining about the apartment. A pause, then a laugh. Diane doesn't suspect a thing. She thinks the long hours are for the expansion plans. As long as the family meeting goes smooth, we're golden. My breath caught. He kept talking, words that sliced deeper with every one. The shop's money is easy to move. Jacqueline's buried in paperwork. Doesn't see the big picture. I signed off on a few myself. Forged Dad's old style when needed. No one's checking that closely. Another pause. Love you too. See you this weekend. The call ended. His footsteps faded as he locked up and left. I sat there in the dark. Phone still recording, silence now, replaying what I'd just heard. Wayne wasn't just cutting corners, he was stealing. Using the business Dad built with his own hands to fund a secret life. Forging signatures that violated the morality clause Mr. Goodwin had mentioned in passing when reading the will. If proven, it could strip him of everything. The betrayal hit in waves. Not just the money, though that was bad enough. We were barely keeping margins with the cheaper materials. It was Diane, who'd welcomed me at family dinners, who'd talked about kids someday. Wayne was lying to her face while building something else on the side. And the family, the shop that carried our name, that people trusted because of what it stood for, he was risking it all for himself. I stopped the recording and saved it. Hands steady now despite the ache in my chest. This wasn't about sibling rivalry anymore. This was Wayne choosing to destroy what little we had left of mom and dad, and dragging Diane down with him. Blood didn't make him family if he could do this. It made him a stranger. From that day on, the tears dried up. I turned cold inside. Focused, I went back to the office the next morning and started quietly copying everything. The bank statements with the suspicious transfers, the printed receipts I'd saved, screenshots of the transaction logs. I stored them on a secure drive at home, away from the shop's network. Wayne still hadn't revoked all my access, probably too busy to notice. Every new odd payment that came through, I documented without a word. The recordings came easier than I expected. Wayne had a habit of taking calls in the main finishing area when he thought no one was around, pacing while he talked. I kept my phone ready. Over the next couple weeks, I caught 3 more conversations. One where he arranged a weekend getaway, mentioning use the business card, she won't see it. Another where he laughed about signing off on a fake invoice to cover a car payment for her. The last one was the clearest, him telling Carla not to worry about the money trail, that the family lawyer was old and wouldn't dig deep unless someone made him. Each time, I sat in my truck afterward, listening back just once to confirm, then locking the files away. The anger settled into something sharper, more useful. This wasn't impulse. This was evidence. I knew I needed more than my word against his. One afternoon, I drove to Mr. Goodwin's office in town. He'd handled Dad's estate since I was a kid. A quiet man with wire-rimmed glasses and a voice that never rushed. I told him I had questions about the will. Nothing specific at first. We sat in his wood-paneled room, and I asked about the morality clause. Dad had insisted on the part about conduct that could harm the business or family reputation. Mr. Goodwin pulled the original document, flipping through pages. It's ironclad, he said. Misuse of company funds. Proven personal misconduct that damages the trust. Any of that can trigger removal as trustee. The business would revert to the next eligible heir or a court-appointed manager if needed. He looked at me over his glasses. Why do you ask? I didn't show him everything yet, just enough one transfer record. Hypothetically, I said, if someone was moving money improperly, what would it take to prove it? He explained the process, clear financial trail, corroborating evidence, a formal challenge at a family or court level. The annual meeting would be the natural place to raise it. He added, everyone's together, reports are presented, cleanest way. That sealed it. The family meeting happened every December at the old house dinner, catching up. Then Wayne's big update on the numbers. Relatives came from hours away, expecting the usual good news. This year would be different. I spent the following weeks building the file, more recordings when Wayne got careless, speaking just loud enough near my office door. Additional bank exports, showing the pattern. I even noted dates he'd claimed, business trips that lined up with charges in other cities. Everything went onto a single USB drive, labeled innocently as annual reports backup. Multiple copies, hidden in safe places. I didn't rush. Acting too soon would give him time to cover tracks. The meeting was the moment when he'd stand up proud, flashing charts about growth he hadn't earned. That's when the truth would hit hardest. In front of everyone who'd trusted him. By the time December rolled around, the drive was ready. Every transfer, every word he'd said without knowing I was listening, it was all there. I wasn't shaking anymore. I was steady. The night of the family meeting arrived. The old house packed with people, the driveway overflowed with cars. Every light in the place blazing. The rich aroma of pot roast and apple pie pulling everyone in like always. Aunts, uncles, cousins from near and far. It was the one time of year we all came together. Big dinner. Stories, then Wayne's spotlight moment, with the shop's numbers. The table groaned under Mom's china. Kids darting between legs, voices overlapping in that warm, familiar chaos. Diane played hostess perfectly, hugging arrivals, refilling glasses, her laugh ringing out. Wayne worked the room, backslaps and handshakes, soaking up praise for looking so put together. Dinner dragged on with the usual chatter, new babies, retirements, health scares. Wayne barely ate, eyes darting to his laptop, itching to start. As plates cleared and coffee poured, he finally stood, that smug grin spreading. All right, everyone, he announced, voice booming with excitement. Time for the good stuff. The business update. He fired up the projector, slides clicking into place like he'd rehearsed 100 times. The graphs lit, the wall lines shooting upward. Figures padded just enough to impress. Smart moves this year, he boasted, advancing slides, slashed overhead, optimized suppliers, leaner crew, highest profits we've ever seen. Nods and whistles rippled around. He leaned in, eyes gleaming. We've got 2 new showrooms, signed, talks with major builders. This is takeoff. Then the killer slide loomed. Reorganization chart, central control under him. Admin roles consolidated, my name fading to a footnote. Effectively gone. Diane gripped his arm, glowing with pride. An uncle lifted his glass. To Wayne, taking us to the next level. Glasses clinked, cheers rising. Wayne drank it in, finger hovering over the next click to seal my irrelevance. I shoved my chair back hard enough to scrape the floor. Silence dropped like a blade. All eyes swung to me. Hold the toast, I said, voice cutting clear through the room. There's something you all need to hear first. Wayne's face twisted. Jacqueline, sit down, this isn't. No, I snapped, stepping forward, USB already in hand. It's exactly the time. I yanked his drive, plugged mine in. Mr. Goodwin sat stone-faced at the end. Folder ready, I'd brought him for this. The screen flickered to my files. I hit play. Wayne's own voice boomed out. Smug and careless. Transfers are Jacqueline's drowning in forms. Won't spot a thing. I handled the signatures myself. Sharp intakes of breath. Next clip. His laugh over the condo buy. The diamond necklace. Our secret, Diane thinks it's all work. Carla's name dropped. Weekend getaways. Lies about overtime. Gasps turned to murmurs. I flipped to the statement's red highlighted lines. Massive totals siphoned off. Your record profits. I said, voice like steel. Stolen. From the shop Dad bled for. From all of us? Diane's hand flew to her mouth. Eyes wide in horror. Wayne bolted up. Stop this, it's edited. Twisted, he lunged for the remote. But 2 cousins blocked him. Sit, one growled. We're listening. The last recording crushed it. Wayne, mocking the Will's clause, bragging no one would challenge him. Dead silence when it ended. Diane rose slowly, face crumpled, tears spilling. She stared at him really. Stared like a stranger wore his skin. Every late night, every meeting. It was her. Her voice broke. Wayne reached out. Diane, baby, listen. She recoiled, grabbed her purse, and fled. Door banging shut behind her. No one followed. Then the dam broke. Voices exploded, shock, fury. You stole from your own family. An aunt cried. Dad's name on junk now, because of you. An uncle roared. Cousins turned away, disgusted. Wayne pleaded, voice cracking. It's not. I can fix the business, needed investment. No one bought it. Lies crumbled in real time. Mr. Goodwin stood, voice cutting through the chaos. As family counsel, he said firmly, opening the will. This evidence triggers the morality clause explicitly. He read it aloud. Misuse of funds, conduct harming the trust, immediate removal. Wayne Porter is disqualified as trustee. Effective immediately. Control passes to the remaining eligible heir. Wayne collapsed into his seat, face ashen, world imploding. The room that toasted him minutes ago, now iced over. Cheers turned to contempt. His empire built on theft, shattered in one night. 3 months later, everything had changed. Diane filed for divorce the week after the meeting. She took the house, the savings, most of what Wayne had left in his personal accounts. The judge didn't drag it out. Irreconcilable differences. No kids to complicate things. She moved to Charlotte, started over with friends who'd stood by her. Last I heard, she'd cut all ties with the family name on that side. Wayne fought the removal at first. Hired a lawyer to challenge the clause. It didn't last. Mr. Goodwin presented the evidence in court, bank records. The recordings, everything timestamped and clear. The judge ruled quickly. Embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duty. Wayne lost the trusteeship permanently. The shop transferred to me as the remaining direct heir. No contest left. The lawsuits followed fast. Suppliers he'd stiffed with bounced checks. Craftsmen he'd let go without proper notice, they all came forward. The total he'd siphoned off came out in discovery, more than anyone guessed. Creditors circled. He declared bankruptcy, sold the fancy truck, the watches, anything of value. Now he rents a 1-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. The kind with thin walls and shared laundry. No one from the family visits. Calls go unanswered. He's alone with what he chose. The workshop is mine now, legally and fully. I started fixing things the day after the ruling. Brought back the old suppliers, the ones who select wood the right way. Rehired the best craftsmen I could find. Paid them what they're worth. Switched back to traditional finishes, no shortcuts. Customers noticed, orders picked up again. People who'd stopped coming wrote emails saying they were glad the quality was back. Marilyn runs the floor like she always should have, and the place hums the way it used to, steady and proud. I walk the aisles some evenings, running my hand over fresh tabletops, feeling that familiar warmth in the grain. It's quieter without the rush, Wayne pushed, but it's honest. The shop survived him. As for Wayne, I cut him out completely. No calls, no updates, no second chances. Blood doesn't excuse what he did. He betrayed Diane, the family, everything Dad and Mom worked for. I don't hate him anymore. The anger burned out. There's just nothing left to say. Family isn't only about shared blood if it's built on lies. Real family earns trust every day, protects what matters, faces hard truths instead of hiding them. The truth hurt like hell that night, ripped everything open, but it was the only way to heal, to save what was left of the legacy. Dad would have wanted the shop to stand on integrity, not deception. Now it does. I kept the name Porter Family Furniture, but it means something different now. It means what lasts when the fake layers get stripped away. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. I wish all of you good health, good luck, and plenty of joy. Remember to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next stories, better and more interesting ones. Thank you.